Welcome to Deep Thought. Many people reflect their social class in their appearance. And that's something deep. I mean, yeah, the politically correct thing is don't judge people by their appearance. That's politically correct. But realistically, you can tell a lot about somebody through of their social class and, their economic class, whatever, even their thought patterns through how they look. And that's been talked about. And that's many people. There's always an exception. There's always an exception. Like I know a woman, and if you were to see her, you wouldn't have any idea about how much money her husband makes. And she's real cool, but she just looked like a regular working class woman. But her husband makes $500,000. And they live on a big ass property. But you wouldn't look at her and think, oh, like if you were to say, okay, what's her husband doing? Her husband doing something totally different. Like they got trucks, everything. Even when you see her husband, you wouldn't think he's making $500,000. He legitimately wears like no name brand clothing and everything. So, but those are, and he got long hair. If you see him around, you'd be like, oh, okay, he ain't doing anything. So there's always exceptions, but the exceptions sometimes prove the rule. Because I was thinking about that. Like the other day I was watching they were interviewing a college football player, right? And they actually interviewed him. Now, he looked like a clean-cut dude. He can go to a top-notch university, right? And they interviewed his father as well. And his father was a doctor. His father was a doctor. And I was like, yeah, he looked upper class. The kid looked up the upper class. And, of course, his father was a doctor. He was just like, oh, okay. But then I thought about there's a flea market I go to in my area. And because they have an Amish market there too. I be getting some food. Those Amish be cooking. Or Mennonites, I don't know, one or the other. They be cooking and everything. They be throwing down some food for some people who ain't into electricity and stuff. They be cooking. They be using all those electronic equipment. That could be another conversation. But it was in a poor area. When you get like flea markets and stuff like that, you don't get like more upper class people. You get poorer people. And I was looking at them and they look poor. They look poorer, and they look rougher and everything. They were reflecting what their social class was. In general, if you talk to them and everything, you interact with them. Because, and I was thinking about that because one of the things with me, and I've said this, I've been in both very poor areas and also been around very rich areas. I've been around very poor people and also very rich people. And all of a sudden you can almost see it. It's like one of the things sociologists have said, when people have money, they can fix themselves up better. They can get braces or whatever they got to keep their teeth straight. They can go to the doctor, everything, When you can't afford that stuff, one of the places that it shows is your teeth. You can't go to the doctors, you're more stressed out. In fact, I've had a couple books that have said that. If you poor, you're more stressed out. You can't go to the doctor as much. If something happens, you might have to deal with it. Financially, you might have to deal with it. You can't fix it. You can't fix that car. An emergency happened. And it's a difference. When you go to go to a college campus, like a rich college campus, like a top school, and then go to a trailer park. Sometimes those two are near each other. That's the more interesting thing. The people look different. Like if you go in different neighborhoods, just go in different neighborhoods and everything. In fact, when I was I'm living here now, there's more money where I'm living now. There's more people who have money. They look different from where I moved from, because where I moved from, there was a lot of Section 8 folks. And I didn't realize it, but the building I was living in had quite a few Section 8 folks. And I was like, I was thinking about how they looked, how they carried themselves versus how people in the area that I'm in carry themselves. You know, and I really didn't realize. I was like, wait a minute, they look totally, it's like the appearance and everything, how they carry themselves. Like, I haven't seen anybody around here smoking. Seriously, I haven't seen anybody smoking. Well, no, I seen one person, they be smoking. But even he looked like he might have had, he's an older guy, looked like he had to work up to where he was. Other than that, I don't really see people like with their out with their cigarettes and everything, you know? But where I used to live, you see that all the time. You see people walking around with cigarettes all the time, stuff like that, you know? And it was like, it does affect your appearance. It affects your skin. Like, you have better food in like more upscale places, like literally better food, better fruits, everything, you know. In some poorer places, not as much. Like, there was a grocery store that actually closed in the area that I had to go to. Like, I was in this area to do a vending event one time, and I had to get something from the store, and I was like, this is a dirty ass grocery store. But I was looking at the people. Like, you get some of these food deserts, some of them don't even have it, but you start looking at the people, you're looking at everything. They look different from some place that has a ton of grocery stores. Even physicality, like, okay, where I live now, there's so many gyms and workout places, yoga studios, it's scary. It's like, they are as ubiquitous as liquor stores in poor neighborhoods. I mean, seriously, you gotta look at the neighborhoods, look at who's around there, the mindset, how much money they making. Because somebody who's making 6 figures, they can keep themselves up better than somebody who's making minimum wage or natty or living off the state. That's how deep it is. And when you think about the social class aspect of it, the upper classes, they can take care of themselves better. They can even mate better. They can hit the gyms, work out. In fact, they'll have that, least likely to smoke or do anything to hurt their bodies. Meanwhile, you go in poorer neighborhoods, you'll find the liquor stores, you find places selling cigarettes, all of that stuff. In fact, I would say, I wouldn't even call the neighborhoods so much as poor as exploited, because you got a ton of businesses there. In fact, I was talking with a group of guys publicly. We were talking about that. You go in certain neighborhoods, you can just look at the stores there and tell what's up. You can just drive through. You don't even have to see the people. Just look at the stores, what they have there. And it'd be totally different from like a more upscale neighborhood. And that affects that appearance. It's something to think about. Like, when you go out, just look, just pay attention. Like, maybe take a trip to a more upscale place. You look at the people. And then through a poorer place, look at the people. Be careful with some of the poorer places, because you coming through the neighborhood, they might be asking questions and everything. In fact, when you talk about different neighborhoods, even when you talk about crime in different cities, one of the things that's not talked about is it's usually limited to a small areas. They might do a lot, but it's limited to small areas, you know? So it's something to think about. It's something to think about, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. Something to think about. You know me, I just throw out stuff. So anyway, I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.